So, I'm going to keep my promise. Thank you, theolawaczeck. I'm sorry, I'm not sure if I can totally pronounce your name, but thank you regardless. I just figured I want to say your name. Anyway, thank you for both this and Stay Forever. This is a great song. Now, one of the interesting things about this song is two things. Its pitch and the sort of position that it's played in. So, like so many songs, especially off the pod, the pitch is warbled and it's down-tuned a bit from how it was originally played. It's in the key of B flat minor. Could be in the key of, I'm not totally sure, it could be in D flat major, but I'm just going to say it's in B flat minor. But it's, it's kind of warbly and it's slightly pitched down, so it's not going to sound totally accurate if you're in regular standard tuning, if you play along with it, the album. But for the longest time, when it comes to live performances, I listen to basically all Request Live and onward performances of this song. And there, they play it in D flat minor, and this is how they have played it. Sorry, just D minor. So, up here. And, so sounds like I was like, oh, is that how they originally played it on the pod and they just slowed it down or sped it up or something? But no, if you watch live performances from like the 90s, back when it was just Gene and Dean and like a DAT, they're playing it in that key, right? So in B flat minor. So I guess at some point they changed it. I don't know if it's easier for Gene to sing it now that it's in D minor. I think it might be because the melody is a little bit lower when they play it like that. Either way, I'm going to teach it in B flat minor. Okay? And because once you learn it in B flat minor, you can just take everything I'm teaching and just take it up a major third or 4 frets, right? So it's just, right? Just remember that. B flat minor. Okay, and you could very clearly saw that I'm teaching the keyboard part. Even though that there's no guitar playing that on the album, they've never really done that live from what I can tell. Maybe at some point they had someone strumming the chords or something. But yeah, this is not on the album. This is just my arrangement for the guitar of the keyboard part. It's a killer part. So let's just start with that because that's like the foundation of the song. So we're going to start off with this D flat major triad on the 8th and 6th frets of the G and B and E. And then you're going to add in the 8th fret of the E. And then you're going to play the 8th of the D. And then you're going to bar it across the 6th of the G, B, and E. Alright, so far we got, and just hold that, and then you can go back to that chord, but that's just, you're just going to add in the 8th of the G. Alright, and then it just loops. That's the whole keyboard part. It's great. It's a great part. Alright, and then the main guitar riff, of course, is, it's a lick. And it's a killer lick. It's, now every time he plays this, it's never the same way twice, right? It's like, he always takes the basic steps, like, and then he always does something different with it. But the very first time he does it in the song, when it starts right off, this is basically what he's playing. He's going, all right, so we're in this, B flat minor kind of bluesy thing. And he's going to go on the 6th and 8th fret of the G, do a bend on there at the 8th. Alright, so slow bend, then bring it back down, and then you're going to bend up here, half step on the 5th of the D. And you're going to hold it there longer most of the time when this note's being played, you're going to have it be holding it when it's bent up, right? And then sometimes he goes and adds that little, brings it back down real quick and just adds vibrato. And then from there, he just does variations of it, right? At one point, at one point he ends it like that, which is just the same thing he did on the D, just on the G. And, live especially, I know I say that a lot with these songs. Now, when they do it live, they add in all this stuff, but, they really do. Live, one performance in the 90s I saw, he's doing, like, this double stop thing, or like you do with your fingers. Something like that, where it's, it's bending the G and B with those two fingers, or you could do with your ring finger. But yeah, and you can just play around with the lick, right? Just add some little flourishes after the main part's done. Stuff like that. And that's basically the most of the song, because when the vocals come in, the guitar's not doing much at all. But that's because there's a lot of empty space, and a lot of it's held by that keyboard part. Alright, so there's basically, you can just go right into the second part of the song, the big epic part with the soaring guitar. But first I want to talk about the chords that are going on underneath of it, that the keyboard and the band's playing. So, again, when they play it live, it's a different key, and especially with this particular song, of course, near the end of it, tape completely slows down, super low. But I'm just going to be teaching the chords that it's playing. I'm not going to try and change keys as you're going, because that's kind of, whatever. And they definitely don't do that live. But the chords that it's playing are F minor, E flat major, and D flat major, then A flat major, and then ending on the E flat major. Okay, and then it just sort of loops over that over and over again until the last time that it loops it, it goes. On the album version, it just sort of rides out on that, on the that chord. Of course, by that point, the tape's sped down to like F, roughly, but that's on the album version. That's what it does. When they play it live, they end it on the and then they end it on like that. But again, they play in a different key, so this chord would be like G. Of course, that's lower on the guitar, but in the key, it's different. All right, that's it for the chords. And now it's just the guitar solo. So when the second first starts, we get a big old bend, almost like very Gilmore solo, I find. He's going to bend up, bring it back down, and then he's going to trill. And then, slow bend. Basically, the variation of like the lick, right? But, you're trilling a lot more. And then he's going to alternate between trilling and bending up. And you could also bend upward or downward, depending on how you find it's comfortable. And then, again, just variations if you want. Going to do this 4 times, but the 4th time he does it, you're going to start it off with like the, right, and the alternating between the trilling and the bend up. But then the 4th time he does it, you can either slide or bend up. I like to bend up on the 8th fret of the G. Alright, so we're starting off here. And you can also slide up on the 10th of the G, and then we're going to hit this. And then you're going to bend up. This is on the 11th of the B. You slide up from the 9th to the 11th of the B. Then bend up a little bit. Just a little bit. You're going to pick and slide down. And then those 2 notes. And then you're going to make your way up here. Alright, so... And then... Alright, this is your 11th of the B. And then you're going to make your way up here to the 14th and 16th. And then big, I believe, 1.5 steps bend on the B string. Alright? So like about here. And then you're going to release it very quickly, and you're going to slide back down to the 14th. Alright? He's going to pick it, and then he's going to trill on the B string from the 11th to the 14th. And he's going to make his way up to some whole step bends on the E16. So you could make that a way up if you want to. So if you wanted to, or you could just go, just go right into bending it there. But and then he's going to do a couple whole step bends on the 16th of the E. And then he's going to do some unison bends. This is on the 19th of the B. And the, unison bends work. I'm just going to point out the B. And then you're going to do the exact same thing 1 fret lower. And he's going to hold it a little bit longer. Right? And then he just does those unison bends a couple times, those same 2. And then at some point it just becomes a single note. It's the same note, he just hits the B string instead of the E string as well, so alright, and then he just goes back down to doing variations of the lick that he did at the beginning of the solo. And then from there, it just kind of fades out, and he keeps doing variations of that. Again, it doesn't fade out. The tape slows down. So, it's going to sound different. It's going to sound like... It's just going to get lower and lower. So I'm not going to teach that, because when they play it live, they just keep it in the same key, obviously. And then they end it on that chord. Different key live, but still. Alright, that's basically the song. There's another one coming up later. It's not by this same requester, but you should still be like this requester, who's awesome and did both of these songs. Both great songs. Very different songs, but they're both extremely fun to play. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you can learn this song and get some demon sweat on...